On this week's episode of the podcast, we have Joanna Sampson on. We go over how she picked English Pointers as her breed, getting them into field trials, which is normal for pointers, but something that is not as normal is her starting to dock dive them. Thank you for tuning in and listening to her story. You can also find her on Instagram under joanna.sampson2019. To see the video version of the episode with added pictures, you can find it on the Lonesome Willow Gun Dogs channel on YouTube. This week's episode of the podcast, we have Joanna Sampson, and I met her a couple years ago when we had the Her Upland events at my property. We hosted them here. She's come to both of them the last 2 years. And I'm going to be having a Lonesome Willow one this year in September, and we're going to have a quail hunt since quail's going to be in season.
Awesome.
So that's going to be exciting. But how did you get started into hunting?
My family isn't from hunting.
Okay.
I'm 5 kids. My dad's family didn't hunt. My mom's family didn't hunt. My youngest brother, I kind of semi-raised him, and his best friend, his dad was an avid hunter, and he has black labs. So anyway, he started teaching him to hunt, and I would just clean whatever they brought me. And sometimes I butchered it because I did not know what to do with it, you know? It says reconnecting. I'm going to wait a minute, I guess. All right. Are you there? Let me know when you can hear me. It said reconnecting.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So anyway, for many years, my brother started getting my other brothers hunting, and then they knew my boyfriend because my brother dated his sister. And so they all would hunt together, and I would cook for everybody for every hunting season, and they would have so much fun. I got jealous. So I was like, well, I want to hunt. And they're like, my brothers were like, no, you don't. No, you don't. And then my boyfriend's like, okay. And we started shooting guns, and I originally went deer hunting first. And I didn't think I was going to like that. There's a lot of sitting, but I relished being in the woods with nobody to bother me. But you're quiet, you know, you might text somebody far away. My brother got a German short-haired pointer, and we went hunting with him because they just said, hey, do you want to come hunting? And I was like, well, this is great. It's like going on a date with your boyfriend. You can walk in the woods and you're talking and the dogs are running around. And it was like even better than deer hunting. So I was like, okay, well then pretty soon I realized without a dog, there is a crap ton of walking. And so my boyfriend was like, let's get a dog. And I was like, no offense, Nikki, I don't want a German short-haired pointer because my brother's dog is kind of a douchebag. He peed on everything in my house all the time. If he left them in the truck, he ate everything in his truck. He actually started the truck and drove it and wrecked it once. He was pretty much bad. So I was like, I don't want one of them. And Jesse wanted one with a tail, and he was like, let's get an English pointer. And I was like, okay. And yeah, it's just one thing after another. Next thing you know, you're doing it. You know what I mean?
So you have English pointers then?
I do. 3.
Okay. Names and ages.
All right. So I have Ginger. Ginger just turned 8. He's a lemon pointer. I just lost my Bia, in November. Her birthday was yesterday, actually. She would have been 8 yesterday. And that was super horrible. She was my first pointer. And then I got Millie. Millie is 15 months, and she is a liver pointer. And now I got Tater, who is almost 6 months, and she's a black and white pointer. I'm a glutton for punishment with those two, right? Close to age like that. But they love each other.
Yeah, they keep each other entertained.
Yeah, Tater's decided to be in her terrible teens as of this week, though, so. She loves sticks and anything that looks like a stick and eating it in my bedroom, but she's cute.
Yeah, I think that's their saving grace, is that they're cute.
Yeah, and this one's like super submissive. So if you even you don't even yell at her. You're like, Tater, what did you do? And she'll roll down and come over, and she picks you up and will hug you. So you can't get mad at her anyway.
I have met Ginger and Millie.
Yes. No, you haven't met Tater. You will. I'll be bringing her. Don't worry.
Okay. Which one of your dogs has made the biggest impact in your life?
Well, it was Bia. Bia that I just lost, because Bia I didn't know what to expect for a hunting dog, and when I first got her, she was already 9 months old, and the guy did field trials, didn't want her because her tail wasn't straight. No, he didn't.
Yeah,
he did national shoot to retrieve, and he gave her to someone to force fetch, and I ended up getting her, and she was a little bit shy, and I was like, who knows what they did to this dog? How did they treat it? It was in a kennel. I wasn't sure. But that dog from the day I got her was just like my soulmate. You know what I mean? She just loved me and she would hold me and hug me. And I inadvertently went to a field trial with her. One time I had no clue what I was doing, but I met people. Like once you get a hunting dog, you know, you just like, if you're on social media, which I only had Instagram, but it doesn't matter. Other people find you that have other hunting dogs, you know? And there was a woman I met that has like 17 English pointers. And she did a field trial. So I went to see her and she walked one with me. And I did not know how to do anything they do. Like I don't sing to the dog. I didn't have a whistle. I didn't know any of the stuff to do with a dog. But that dog looked at me and it was like she just did this whole course with me. Like she knew what I was saying without me saying it. And by the time I was done, I was crying. I was just like, how was this dog so amazing? And from then on, I was like addicted. Working like bird dogs are just insanely amazing. So she had a really close to my heart.
What is your career? So what do you do when you're not running dogs?
I'm a registered nurse. Currently, I work in home health. I've been there about 11 years, and I'm a branch manager of our division down in Beaver County, Allegheny County area. That's my paid profession so that I can,
Do you like it there?
I love it. I do love my job, but now that I have more dogs, I would like a job that I don't have to work at, or I could just do this when I want so that I could like have a lot more time with my dogs. But I never feel like I'm working. Like I never don't want to go to work. I love all my staff. I love helping people succeed in their house.
Where have you traveled to hunt?
Not as many places as I would like. I have really not been out of state at all, actually. I haven't. Well, so before hunting, I was a big fisher woman, which I still would like to fish more, but I traveled a lot for fish. I love surf fishing. I like ocean fishing. So I've been all up the coast fishing. But since I got bird dogs, there's not as much time for fishing. You know, we used to still head fish a lot also. I loved all kind of fishing. I lived constantly when I was younger. That's what we did. But hunting, I really haven't left much of Pennsylvania, mainly because by the time I got the hunting dogs and started hunting, my kids got older and I started having some health problems with them and my mom. This year I plan on changing that. I have a friend that moved to Montana and his wife has the German short hairs, that she rehomes, that Amy got one of them. So hopefully I can go out there and hunt with them.
And she has that rescue.
Yep. Paws
to
Peaks. Yep.
Okay. And her name is
Gina.
Gina. Okay.
Yep.
She does some good work there.
She does. She has a lot of dogs. But she does. She has a lot of dogs. It's nice. But I would love to get out there. We keep saying that. It's just, life has interrupted me and I have to stay local until that passes.
Yeah. We got when we went to Iowa last year, we got the travel bug. So we're either going to decide, which Justin and Shane need to decide, if we're going to go to Montana this fall or if we're going to go to South Dakota.
Well, they go to South Dakota a lot out there too, and they really like it. I've had a lot of people say they went to Kansas also and really like Kansas. I was born there though. Hurt in tornadoes. I'm like, maybe non-tornado season.
You'll have to let me know whenever you're going out to Montana.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to check. Because I think their season starts before us, around there. But I would love to get out there. It's gorgeous out there. If you haven't been out there anyway, it's just beautiful. But we didn't get to hunt when I went out there, so we couldn't take the dogs. It was for a wedding.
I gotcha. So you just hunt mostly around PA then?
I do yes.
For when they stalk the pheasants.
I do stalk pheasants. If you go a little bit north, you can find grouse. I haven't shot woodcock. I shot quail. I just haven't shot the woodcock. I don't know why. I just haven't. They're cute. But all the birds are beautiful. It doesn't matter, but they're small, so. And then, of course, deer and fish.
What's been your favorite hunting? It would be trip, but what would be your favorite hunting trip you've taken the dogs? So.
Huh. I don't know.
Is there like a day that you've taken them out that has that's been
I'm trying to think because there's so many of them, honestly. Every time I go out, I love when they go out, but there's been days, I'm not going to lie, that we've went out and we have not got any birds, but it was just a beautiful day. And every single time, no matter what the weather is that I get to go hunting, I just love nature. and I can't believe how beautiful it is. And I'm like, my dogs have blessed me with spending so much time outside. You know what I mean? Um, there hasn't been one particular one. I think I did recently. We got a camp up in Canadota, which is more up north by Erie. And there's a lot of game lands up there, like from our cabin within 6 minutes. There's two different game lands. So we did get to go up there. And I really loved my hunting up there because, first of all, it was new areas. They have tons of waterways, not as much jaggers as we have down here, which was a blessing. The dogs worked really hard in the hard cover and everything. And some of the fields, like they were just humongous. There's one on West Sunbury. It makes me think about this one too. But that was my worst day of hunting. But they have like fields that are so high, like you're in there, you find your dog, the bird barely gets above you. And they pushed up a whole covey of birds one day. And a bird just came to the top of the grass. And it was like pretty much to here. So you have to wait for it to get above you enough to shoot it, And I took a shot at one. I missed it. There was like three. And I hit the second one with my 28, mind you. So I was super excited because I had a thing to use my 28 all year. And I had Millie with me, and she was still a puppy. There was more birds over to the left, and Ginger was down there and looking, and they were all over, and Bee was somewhere else. And Millie ran down there, and I was like, not letting her go super far away at that time. But I was like, I think she's going to find the bird, And by the time I got down there, because there was a lot of jaggers and everything, she did. She had found that bird, and she was waiting there with me. She wasn't like bringing him back to me yet at this time because she was really young. But I think that was like my happiest day. I was just like with all the dogs and the birds and the sun setting, and it was perfect weather and great bird work, dog work. It was just amazing. That was my favorite day.
Whenever I had Mo, so Mo's 6 now, his first season, I could not get him, like he wouldn't swim. And I didn't shoot anything his first season. My husband and Shane took him out a lot too, and they got him birds. So his second season, I took him out. He was like kind of swimming when he wanted to, but I took him out and I actually was able to shoot a bird. So me and Justin were going down in this dip, and then there's a big pond at the bottom of it out in Big Run Game Lands. And the birds went and they flushed and they went over the pond, and I shot, and the bird landed in the middle of the pond. And that day Mo decided that he was going to swim. So awesome. He went and he swam and he got it and he brought it back to me. It was rainy that day too. So everything was we were just soaking wet, but it was a day to...
I'm hoping I get that with my Millie. She likes water a lot. In fact, at your house, when we were up there, she was just little, and one of the girls had maybe a Weimaraner or something. I don't remember, but they were throwing some of the decoys in, and the dogs wouldn't go in the water and get it. And she's like, "Will your dog go in there?" And I had my older ones. I'm like, "No, my puppy might, because she likes water." And I took her over, and she was on her check cord, and she jumped in and went out and got it. And I was like, "She just water retrieved," And since then, she loves water, and I am so excited because I do think this year that she would probably retrieve over water, and I'm excited to see. She's a good swimmer. Yeah, I'll be happy if she does.
I know a lot of pointers don't swim.
No, she loves it. Like, loves it. I have a, stock tank here. It's just her swimming pool. She just goes in it and swims in it all the time. She loves it.
Brings me to one of my other questions I had for you. So you got Millie from Caliber Peak Kennels.
Yep.
With Sarah.
Yep.
And she dock dives her pointers.
Yep.
A lot. So do you think that brings in like her swimming ability more?
It's fair where they talk about nature versus nurture, but I think just like how dogs are bred to hunt, and people choose dogs sometimes when looking at lines. Like if you want a dog that's good in field trials, you'll get a field trial dog. It's bred into the lines. I do think so. I actually went to see her at the dock diving, and this past summer, and Millie was little, still on a check cord, not being off, and we got her in the practice pool, and she like we started at the lower one, she jumped in, she would retrieve, and she went up there, and like I can guarantee you I will be back this summer meeting when she's up there because she does. But I do think that probably because they've been exposed to it and they're doing it, she's more inclined to.
So you think you're going to get into some dock diving with Millie then?
I hope so. I just looked at the field trial schedule, and every time she sends me something, and I'm like, oh, I signed up to help with the Ruffled Grouse Society for this, and I know your thing's probably coming up, and this thing's coming up, and I'm like, I don't have time to take a vacation if I just do dog stuff all the time, because they're like multiple weekends every weekend, you know. So I won't hit all of them, but I'm definitely going to do more because I really liked it.
So the Pheasants Forever Women on the Wing event that is put in place out at Delps.
Yes.
Chapter 630 puts it on. Me and April Bryan are the chairman for it this year, or chairwoman for it this year. So we are going to be hosting it at Delps, and it's going to be on Saturday, September 6th.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
So if you want to,
I know you guys do Chucker challenges, but I'm like, I don't know if I have time to do all of those. Like all of those things. I mean, you know, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, you can't do all of them every day, I guess. But yeah, let me know about that. That would be great.
Yeah. We're going to have a meeting next week on it to get some stuff rolling for it. And then September 13th and 14th, that weekend is the weekend at my house.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to come to that again.
Weekend.
I was already thinking about your place like all week. Like I'm gonna have both of these puppies, and you know where they're gonna, what I can work on with them. I already have it planned. I was already thinking it, and sleeping in my van.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just did your first field trial with Millie. Is that right?
It was my second field trial with Millie. So I did one time with Bia, and that was probably like 6 years ago, probably. And right where her age was, she was cut off. Like she would have had to been fully broke, basically, and she wasn't. And at the time, you know, people said, "What do you do for a career? You can do this." And I was like, I don't have time to every weekend go to these things, and I didn't. But I also, because they were my first bird dogs, did not know. Like I didn't train the dogs more. I got them started, and just how I had them, I hunted with them. And now, you know, after you have them for a while, you know what you want your dogs to do. I knew what my dogs are good at, but I knew what they sucked at. Like Ginger likes to tenderize the birds before she don't even bring them back to you. You know, she tries to swallow them whole, and I don't want that. So I was like, okay. So when I got the puppies, everyone's like, try the puppy field trials. A couple people were like, there's a lot of politics in it, but do the puppy trials, are fun. So I did one with her in the fall, and then this is my first one that I did with her in the spring. So second one. And we got third place for puppies. I was super stoked, like beyond stoked. You would have thought I won like the grand prize. I was like crying and screaming.
And you ran it with Sarah, and Sarah had Millie's sister in it, correct?
Sarah, yes. And she won second place. Yep. My brace, the gentleman who won, Rich, he won first place. Me and him were braced together, and it was great. It was super fun.
So you think you're gonna get her into more of field trials?
Yeah, I already told her. I was like, listen, I want to do more of these. And then she's like, there's one this weekend on Saturday in Marionville. And I was like, well, first of all, the weather's going to be storming all day and an inch of rain. I'm like, eh. But I have, my mom has to be at the hospital tomorrow, and then we have another appointment. And I'm like, it's too short notice, but I am planning on going to at least 2 other ones already in April. So yeah, we'll get there. And one's going to be out of state in New York.
Okay, I was just going to ask, are they both in PA, or are you going out of state for any?
One's up by you, a little bit past Punxsy. Oh, heavens, I forget the name. Oh, wait, give me a minute. I'll remember where it's at. Warriors Mark. It's up there, Warriors Mark Kennels. And in Coudersport.
Okay, yeah.
And then the other one's in Elport, New York, the weekend after.
So you said New York, and then up at Warriors Mark.
Yes.
They're having one. Okay. Mo's line is from Warriors Mark.
Okay. Oh, easy. Awesome. Yeah, I've never been there, so I'm excited to go there.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. What is your favorite game to harvest?
I thought you were going to say favorite dog. I was like, please don't ask me that. I don't know. Listen, I'm going to say birds, and here's why. This is a stupid reason, but not really. They pretty much die easy, and they're easy to clean and to transport where you're going. Like if you're deer hunting, I don't like watching animal die. I mean, when I first started hunting, I wasn't sure if I could do it. But when you're hunting, things happen so quickly, and you don't have time to sit and think about it. But I don't like watching the animals die so much. I always thought like I'll be very ethical like an Indian and like thank God and the earth for giving me food to eat, or type thing. But I have had a deer that we had to track pretty far because I shot it running and I was so upset because I didn't want it to suffer. I'm very much about like making sure you have a good shot and having ethical kills, regardless. But then, once you do get a deer, you have to gut it, and it's much more stinkier than a bird, and then you have to drag it back somewhere. And with a bird, you just shoot it, and most of the time they just die, and you throw it in your pouch, and you come home, and you can clean a bunch of them, and you're good to go. Same thing with fish, if I do keep them.
That's what we usually, so when Justin gets a deer, or like we have a buddy that we get cows from.
Mm-hmm.
So usually once a year, once every other year, we get a cow and he raises it with his, and then like he sends it off to butcher them. So Chuck was his name for this year. We named our cow Chuck. He was a red,
Like
I
chuck
think a
roast.
redding. Yeah, Chuck roast.
Chuck roast.
But Justin went over the day that they loaded them up and thanked Chuck for his life, and because that's what he gave it for us. He lived a good life for when he was on here, so
At
he
least
thanked him
coming
for
to
his life.
protect me.
And I always like to use the most out of the animal that we can.
Yes, me too. So, and I talked to the girls about that when we were up at your place. I always like that they show you how to, different ways to dress the birds in the field, and stuff or whatever. I always, for my deer and our birds, we do the whole body, and I will boil everything down for the dogs. I always make broth for them. I take all the meat off of the deer. We process our own deers. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially if you hunt all day and it's warm in Pennsylvania half the time. You can't leave your meat hanging that long. So, it's like a long weekend. You're processing or we're doing everything. We take all the bones, cut them or break them with a sawzall and put them in a giant stock pot, cook them down till the bones are like bare. And then we grind it up for dog food. And since we garden, we'll take like, if there's green beans that are still like old, like 2 years old, we'll take vegetables and mix them in and make our own dog food to put with it. And it doesn't smell real great when you're cooking it down or anything, but like I feel like we're not wasting anything. Everyone's either us or the animals are using it. And then when you do eat it, you have your harvest and your garden. Even though it was all that work, then you just remember because it's so satisfying to have a meal that you've prepared from like start to finish yourself like that.
Yeah, it's something. I still remember whenever you came to our first event here and we did the cleaning of the truckers, and everybody was showing everybody how they clean them, and there was multiple different ways.
It was awesome. And my granddaughter and my daughter-in-law, I took them there and I was shocked that she did it. And my granddaughter was like, no, thanks, I'm okay. She's still that way. She don't like cleaning. She don't mind seeing us shoot them. She'll come with me. She'll do bird work, but she doesn't want to really clean them yet.
Okay.
That's okay. She'll get there.
Does your daughter-in-law go out with you at all?
She did only twice this year. I really wanted her to so bad, but she had got a promotion and she was working and she worked every weekend and she was always not there. So of interest, my son, who's married to her, he started hunting this year. He'd been a little bit too bad into partying and stuff like that, and his life was going all kind of crazy. And so he had did some stuff to get it changed around. And I was like, why don't you come hunting with us? Because he had nothing to do. He's trying to stay away from bad kids and stuff, his friends. And he started coming. He's a really big guy. And like, he would just hike with us everywhere. He fell in love with it. He couldn't believe, he'd be like, I can't believe Bia would just listen to him. And he was shocked. And he goes all the time with us. And I did take him and his wife and my granddaughter all with us one time and hunted. Just one time this year.
It's one time.
Yeah,
because I know your daughter-in-law became a sharpshooter.
she did. Yeah, I know. And I still think she'd be really good at it. She does want to. It was just her availability of her time. But I'm thinking this year she's on night shift, like midnight. And I think she'll be able to go to more this year. And I think she would like it.
Yeah, that'll be good. Good for her. What is your most favorite item to take hunting? And it can't be the dogs. Everybody wants to say the dogs.
Well, I'll ring my favorite. Favorite how?
Your most useful, or I always take, so I have my vest, but I like my gloves that I have, so I put them on whenever we're getting on, like in jaggers and stuff.
Okay.
And I
All
have
right.
a hanky, which is my favorite because my nose runs in the cold a lot. So I have it tied to the back of my vest.
Well, so there's two things I suppose, because I was thinking all the things I need to take or like to take. I have like 7 vests because I'm of a certain age and I get hot flashes. And so I have a super light vest and I hate that it never stays buttoned. But my son bought me an Orvis lightweight jacket, and when it unzips, the armpits unzip, and if that thing had a game pouch on it, if they could make that with a game pouch on it, I would live in it. It is so lightweight and has a really soft, lightest, thin fleece in there that no matter what the temperature is, I'm warm in it and I can have the armpits unzipped. But the jaggers, you never feel them. So I almost always end up wearing that jacket no matter where I go because I love it. And this stupid Under Armour hat is one really thin and it's not orange, so I have to put other hats on top of it. But it's an Under Armour. They don't even make it anymore. It has like a green. Some of their clothes had the green. It was like a little triangles all over it. It was inside the hat. They quit making it, and then they made a youth one. It has a pink U on it. I had to buy it off of somebody on eBay. They quit making it. It is the most comfortable and warmest hat, but not like bulky. So those are my two things, besides obviously things you need for your dogs. And my gun. You need your gun.
What do you shoot?
Well, I have a couple guns. My 28 gauge, like I said, right now is my favorite. It's a Beretta Explorer. I love that gun, semi-automatic. I used to have a 12 gauge. I still have it. I have several guns, but like I always was hunting with a 12 gauge. And now that I'm having a brain fart because I just bought another 12 gauge of which one I hunted with all the time prior. Oh my heavens. Oh my brain. Anyway, I like that gun too, but the 28 gauge it fit me and it's so easy and fast and it's lightweight. So I love it. It's my favorite gun. So I hunt with everything now. Although I did get a 20 pump and I didn't use it to hunt because I'm still in love with my 28. So I'll think about it.
And I think that was... No, I have one more question for you. So, obviously your breed of choice is pointers.
Indeed.
Now that you've had them, why are they your choice over any other dog?
Well, I mean, I told you why I didn't want my German short hairs, and it was really because of like I said, a couple people I know, they have them they have separation anxiety, and these ones don't. Every single person that meets my dogs, like my niece is currently staying here with me, and she's like, your dogs are like perfect. Or people who stay with me, like a friend from Florida, she's like, I never really spent time with your dogs, and they are so soft and kind and loving. I take them to work. People have all different kinds of, they could all bring them to work, but they bring them there, and mine are the best behaved. They're the best behaved there. They're the kindest to everybody. They are so well behaved. They listen. They're loving. They love everybody. And they're the most playful dogs I've ever had also. They're so playful with each other and just intelligent. So I do love them. And I love watching a pointer work. If you're in a field and your dog slams on point with its tail up, it's just fantastic, And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I could just go on forever about them. Not that I'm not opposed, because I know there's flushers, and I've seen someone operate with a flusher at a Ruffalo Grouse Society wing shooting event I went. They did a little trial with a flushing dog, and we actually hunted with a group of people, and they had a flusher. And I was really excited because I was like, maybe if I see how this flusher works, that'd be nice to have in Pennsylvania, because there's times your dogs get on point that you can't go in. I've crawled on my stomach. There's just too thick. I was like, if I had a flusher go in there, And we sent the guy's dog and he wouldn't go in and work with my dogs. But I considered maybe looking at that.
Yeah, I keep telling Justin maybe we need to get like a little cocker or
Yeah.
something. Because sometimes they go in on point on some thick stuff, and there ain't no way I'm getting in there.
Listen, I have crawled on my stomach with my gun through mud because I've got in places I couldn't get back out. Jesse just videotapes it. He thinks it's funny. So he's like, there you go. But yeah, I think it would be great. I'm not good at brushing dogs either. So that's the other thing. I had schnauzers and I love my schnauzers and they're great dogs and I'd probably have another one. But I just suck at brushing dogs and I know my limitations. You don't have to do nothing with a pointer. Besides the fact that they get cold and they probably can't go out in as cold for as long as some dogs. Like my Ginger, if she gets real cold and her feet get cold, she sits. And we got to carry her out. So that's not super fun, but I just knowing your dog's limitations and working with that's fine.
That's what, like, I don't want to brush dogs. I don't want to have to bath my dogs every time I take them hunting. Um,
It's easy to find
I
ticks on
literally,
toward your dogs.
I take a lint roller and I
Hmm.
roll it on top of the dogs and it picks up all the ticks. And that's literally all I do with them.
Yeah, I have to try that. I've heard that. I haven't tried that. I honestly, it's where we have our dog trial at. They must have at some point shot a lot of golf balls down there. I think people stood on the hill and just like shot golf balls down. I'd find them and put them in my pocket. So I found out because I tend to I'm not girl hands. I bite my nails and they're usually, cracks from
Yeah,
being wet and stuff. So in fact, when I came to your place last year, I had long fingernails on and I was like, I just did it for a wedding. I'm like, this is never going to last. They didn't. I'd rather spend my money on dog stuff than nails, but whatever. But the golf balls, if you pick ticks off your dogs, because when you first get somewhere, you can pick a bunch off of them and lay them down. You roll a golf ball over them, they just pop, pop, pop. It kills them. So I was like, I have golf balls everywhere. People are like, why do you have golf balls everywhere? I'm like, ticks.
that's good to know.
It works.
Yeah. I know whenever, like, I took Mo guiding up at God's Country over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we guided a group of guys for their YouTube channel's called the Freezer Filler TV.
Awesome.
So they came up and they videotaped it. And I had Mo, they did, I think it was
Hold on a
40.
second. I have a bad pointer. Get. Oh. I heard something in my hunting room, and it's adjacent to me, and I'm like, what is that? And the littlest puppy was in there trying to eat stuff she shouldn't have been. Sorry.
They videotaped everything and they're gonna be putting out a video I think the end of April. They'll put that video out. So we'll be on it. But we had Mo out he was out the whole time, all day long, and the two setters that we had with us, they had to swap them out because they were getting too hot.
It was really humid, and I saw you guys post. You were with Boone?
Yeah, Bethany and
Yeah,
Boone.
Boone dog. Yeah. Yeah, it
But they
does
had
get hot.
yeah, Bethany went out with me. We went out the first part and she took Boone out and then she had to put Boone up because he was getting too hot. So then John, the owner's son, he had his setter Rocco. He's about a year old, I think. But he took him out and he was getting too hot. So then we went back and then the final stretch we had all three out. But I was surprised that like I had Mo and he's fine in heat. The only time he gets a little iffy is if like it's like 10 degrees and it's like sleety, rainy outside,
Yeah.
snowy. Like he's fine in the rain. He's fine in most cold. But that's why I like the short hairs.
Yeah, I agree. I know my friends when we run with their setters, they say the same thing. Or the labs. He's like, you better can't keep up with those girls. He's like, you better get done. And they get hotter faster, but they could last longer probably when it's really cold. Like my Ginger, for some reason, she's very, very thin haired. I call her a naked mole rat. She has no hair on her underneath body. And when you get that like fine layer of freezing on the snow, her feet will bleed on her. So she can't be out like a long time when it's really cold. I did have Bia overheat one time as well, but it was very humid and we weren't out as long as I expected. It wasn't hunting. We were just running, but she didn't have access to water. And she cramped up and started screaming. And it scared me pretty good. I never took her back out. And then I had some old timers say, when it's that hot and you have your dogs out, they keep ice cubes and stick them in their butt. Okay. Don't know if I'll do that. I just got her cooled down and didn't do that again.
I think I took Archie out not this winter, the winter before, and there was like an icy like coat over
Yes.
everything. So like you step down and it would like cut
Yeah.
you. So like his paws were cut up, and then I got him back to the truck and his balls were all bloody.
Oh,
I said I need to get him, if I take him out in the winter, I need to get him like a ball hammock.
ball bag. You could make one pretty easy probably for him, actually.
Yeah, just
mine
like
got cut up underneath a lot from bad stuff like that. And like I think we've talked about it before. I've tried like 4 different vests, the under protectors, and they end up chafing because they get in too much stuff anyway long term. So
we got I'll have to see what exactly it is. Justin got it at the Great American Outdoor Show from Gundog. It has, I'm going to say it wrong because this is not the word for it. Maybe it's Calvary metal?
I don't know.
It's like a metal woven into the...
Yes, yes.
So I got that. He got it for Mo. He took him over to, because we were helping God's Country with their booth. So Justin took Mo over to the Gundog booth to try it on him and figure out which one fit him. And then, so this year we're going to try that out. But it covers like his whole belly, his whole chest, and then it like goes over his arms, and then it like Velcros down the back.
You haven't ran him in it yet.
Has that metal on it too. So even if like he's going under stuff, he's not getting
protect
like,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know how that works. Mine usually it gets chafing right here, like under the arms where they're running. That's where it ends up. They actually, and they won't stop running. I had mine, she never quit running, and then I got home and she was like standing weird and wouldn't like move her legs. And when we took the vest off, she was bleeding. It just, I was like, oof. But she never quit running, because they just, when they're hunting, they don't stop.
Yeah, they won't stop. You have to like notice blood or them limping. Yep. Usually they won't limp. They're not going to show any signs of anything until you get a hold of them.
Until they're done hunting. That's how I ended up with more than one dog. Because my first dog, the first opening day of pheasant, which I don't ever go opening day of pheasant anymore because it was like dark and there's pellets raining down on me because people were shooting and it's like World War 18 out there, like freaking ridiculous. 7 people in a row shooting at one bird. You're like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'll do a much harder and find the leftovers and just go and deal with that. But we hunted for a while because, like I said, it was after that. And when we got back, put her up on the tailgate to start picking ticks off her. And I noticed her foot was like that. And I was like, uh-oh. And I looked underneath of it and she had got cut open and it got packed full of mud. So it never bled and we would have never known there was no blood. And she ran the entire time. They said the mud helped. I mean, there was some dead skin, but So she was out for a couple weeks because she had to go get surgery on her foot. So I was like, hey, we need a second dog.
You got to rotate them.
So got a second dog.
If you couldn't have pointers, what would your second breed choice be?
So I like that small Munchlander.
Yeah.
I do. I do like it. When I like coming up to your place and seeing all the different dogs. I did like the temperament of them, their size. Yeah, I don't know. I did think about that. Like I said, I couldn't have a cocker or anything, but I do like them. Our friends have poodles too, so I'm going to maybe try to take them hunting. We'll see about that. Hence the hair issue there. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I think regular poodles are easier to maintain than all of these doodle mixes.
Oh yeah, I don't like doodles.
Because whenever you breed a poodle with something else, like that other dog's hair genetics comes into play, and it makes it doesn't mesh well with the poodle fur, and that's when you get like matting and all kinds of other stuff, and you have to brush them like every day, and you have to take them to the groomers once a week. But I think maintenance for regular poodles, I think, are easier because like their fur is their fur.
So, yeah, I would agree. My granddaughter's best friend's mother is a groomer, and she has 2 standard poodles, and she actually does show cuts, and she's like starting to do that. And she has a black one and a tan one. And like you can feel underneath their hair that they get weird, But she said she don't even have to brush them hardly at all, actually. You would think by looking at them, but she said that she really doesn't. Although we did take them running with us one time out to a hunting land, and oh, they get dirty as heck. Like they would need a bath afterwards, where my pointers could just like run back in the water, and by the next day they're fine. You can't do that with a poodle. They had to get washed.
I think most, yeah, unless you have a short-haired dog, most hunting dogs, you gotta wash them after you
Yeah,
take them out every time.
yeah. Well, mine have to get washed sometimes because they get into very stinky stuff occasionally. Last night they both jumped into the garden box, which my garden, I have a pretty large garden, and we have raised garden boxes, and then we have chicken wire above that on PVC pipe because the dogs will get in and eat the vegetables or jump on the vegetables, and none of our dogs get in until last night. I'm in the backyard, and the puppy just decided she was going to jump over everything, went in the box, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, I'm going to call Jessie. Well, Millie took one look at her and goes, I can do that. And she was like, boing, straight up into the box. And I call him, and he's like, get him out of there. I just put fertilizer in there. It could kill him. I was livid. I was like, why would you put something poisonous in our yard with the dogs? And he's like, well, the rain is coming and it'll push it into the ground and it'll be fine. Here's me, both dogs in the basement scrubbing them because I'm like, what if it gets on their feet? And I'm like, you need to tell me right now because I get worried about my dogs. I'm like, how serious do I have to like take them to specialty vet and have them monitored? He was like, no, they definitely didn't eat any. But I still bathed them, so now they smell very clean. They're crazy.
I think that's all I have for you.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing me on here and asking. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Plus, it's you girls. It's only the second time I've ever done this. We did the one after the Her Upland, and that was it.
Yeah, we did that one, and then, yeah, this one.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to ask all the girls that have been out to the house. And
yeah, I think it's great. I'm excited to hear everyone.
More people on. I have one of the girls from Iowa. She's going to be on that I went out with. I had Kelly Stolp on with the Broncos.
Oh, yeah, I like her dog.
She just got a puppy.
Oh, did she? The same type?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, a little Bronco.
Yeah, we tend to get our types, huh? Oh, I love it. Yeah, I just went to get Millie. I mean, this last one, Tater. I drove to outside Chicago to get her. I've drove to Indiana and stuff like that with actually my grooming friends to pick up trucks because they custom build them out there. Iowa was very beautiful. I was like, thought about Bea a lot. I'm like, Bea would love to have run the big open areas. It's very pretty out there. And I thought that would be nice to hunt out there. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
And it's not far. I mean, it's far, but it's not that far.
Yeah. We were only like 2 hours from South Dakota, I think.
Oh, well, that's pretty far then.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were like clear out like the west part of Iowa.
Okay.
And I think
there's a lot of dogs out there.
Was like 2 hours.
Well, that's where my puppy's from, is Iowa.
Okay.
But they met me at Chicago.
Yeah. We went through Chicago, I think on our way too, and we went through at like 2 a.m. We went past Chicago, and it looked like you were there in the middle of the day. Like it was
really?
So lit up.
I didn't go close to it. My brother's family's from there, and he's like, don't go like near the city, and he told me where not to stop. But it was uneventful. It was fine. It was uneventful. It was cold. That was it. On the way home, it was freaking cold. The puppy decided to poop in her kennel. And there was no rest stops for 6 miles. And I was like, well, she's walking around in the poop, so I got her out and wiped her feet off. And I sat her on my lap. My son was driving, and there was no way to get rid of the smell. You open the window, it just made it like get worse. And he was just like shaking his head. And when we finally stopped and I put the light on, he's like, Mom, you're covered in shit. I was like, like throwing stuff away at a truck stop, and washing a dog with a bottle of water. I was like, it was fine after we got home, though. It made for a good trip.
Yeah, good trip, good story.
Always. But all right, well, I appreciate you asking me, and I hope to see you soon. I like this God Country thing. I always see you girls go there. I don't know where it's at, but it looks fun and beautiful.
It's up in Coudersport.
Oh, so it's by where I'm going.
They don't put on trials or anything, but
I mean, the city that I'm going to is Coudersport.
Okay. On, what is it? next weekend, the 12th. Me and Mo are going to be we're going back up to God's country, and we are doing a tower shoot. So Mo retrieves, so they have all the stations,
Yeah.
and then they throw the birds off the hill, and everybody shoots the birds. And then the ones that make it past the stations, Mo goes and retrieves in the woods.
So
And then
I
whenever
wondered what they were.
And whenever they sound, they do like a blowhorn. I think it's like 2 or 3 times. And people switch stations. And there's like 10 minutes in between that where the dog will take the dogs out and will pick up all of the dead birds like in between.
So the people
'Cause
shooting don't have to do any
when they're
work
shooting-
to get their birds.
Yeah,
Your dog's
pretty much.
doing it.
Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. And then I'll be going to the Chucker Challenge on the 26th just to hang out with some people that are up there. And then we're going to go out with the owner Fitz to the local bar for like dinner and some drinks for my 30th birthday.
Oh, wait, when's your birthday?
The 24th.
Coming up. Okay. Well, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
All right,
That'll be
awesome.
the first episode of the podcast is going to air on my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, good for you. I'm glad you're doing this. Well, thank you for all your help, too. All you ladies have helped me so much with this puppy, because like I was so excited when Sarah said about getting a puppy. I was like, I haven't had a puppy in a long time. I think I can raise a puppy, but I can't raise a bird dog. And just listening and asking everybody and trying and taking suggestions, like I said, I'm really busy, and next thing you know, I'm running a trial. I'm like, how did I do this? How did I get this bird dog that's better than my other bird dogs? I'm like, and with all women, almost, all women giving suggestions.
Yeah, there's always 10,000 different ways you can teach a dog something.
It took me a while to realize that, not to take it as gospel, and everyone said, find what works for you and being consistent.
Yep.
And that worked. All right, well, I'm going to get off here because I have to be somewhere at 8.
All right, thank you.
So, all right, have a great night, Nikki. Thanks.
You too.
All right, goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Lonesome Willow podcast. To keep up to date on all things Lonesome Willow, you can find us on Instagram at LonesomeWillow_podcast, Lonesome Willow _Gundogs, Facebook under Lonesome Willow Gundogs, YouTube to watch the video version under Lonesome Willow Gundogs. If you know someone that would love to tell their story or you would like to tell yours, please reach out. I cannot wait to keep growing this amazing bird dog community.